LoopGuard is officially a spanning tree feature, and it's one of those stability features for spanning tree protocol. If we examine the left-hand topology that is without LoopGuard enabled, we have experienced a failure in the spanning tree operation on switch B. So since the spanning tree operation on switch B has failed, it is no longer sending BPDUs out this particular interface. Now, what was the topology originally? Well, this is the root bridge here, which means that this is our blocked port. Since that is our blocked port, it's expecting those BPDUs from switch B in order to ensure that it continues to maintain that blocked status. But now that we have a physical layer unidirectional problem, or spanning tree protocol is no longer functioning as it should on switch B, we have the suppression of BPDUs out the interface. So BPDUs are no longer going down to switch C. So what switch C does is it transitions this port here from the blocking state to the forwarding state, in the end, ultimately causing a loop within the spanning tree topology. So if we enable LoopGuard on this interface right here, at a minimum on that interface, what it does is it ensures that if the BPDUs cease to arrive inbound on that interface, the port will not transition to the forwarding state. It will actually be placed in the loop inconsistent state that we see down here. Loop inconsistent state. And what that loop inconsistent state does is it prevents the loop from happening, because in the loop inconsistent state, the port is not forwarding. It's essentially staying in the blocked state. But LoopGuard has prevented it from happening. That's why it's in the loop inconsistent state. So it prevents our loop. So where do we configure LoopGuard? Well, as we've seen, at a minimum, it should be placed on that alternate port, that blocked port within the topology. However, you can place it on root ports. You can place it even on designated ports. However, you really want to be mindful about the hate relationship between LoopGuard and RootGuard. Because of the way RootGuard works and LoopGuard works, they don't work well together on the exact same interface. So if you've configured this port and this port with RootGuard, then do not enable LoopGuard on those interfaces, because LoopGuard will disable RootGuard. It takes precedence over that RootGuard configuration. So in reality, in most cases, you're going to spend time configuring LoopGuard on the block ports in the topology, as well as those ports that are the root ports pointing to the root bridge.